Hello, congratulations on your engagement. We realise that you've got so much to plan now that you've got a wedding to organise. So we've put together a little video just to help with one side of that, and that's choosing your wedding photographer.
We have over 10 years combined experience in the wedding photography industry, and we've come across some very stressed out brides, unfortunately, who've had a bit of a nightmare with their photographer. Unfortunately, we have met them after their big day, but we thought it's a good idea to just tell you about this, give you some tips so that hopefully you choose a really good photographer.
So first of all, as soon as you've got your venue booked and you've got your date set, you really need to start looking for a photographer because all the good ones get booked up really quickly.
So I suppose the next question is, where can you find a good photographer? Well, you might go to a wedding fair where you'll meet hundreds of photographers. There's always loads at wedding fairs. Or a friend might recommend somebody to you. Or you might just have a browse on the internet. The first thing we would say is have a good look at their website. Does their website look professional? Is their photography contemporary or is it very traditional? Do you like the style of the photography? Also, if they have a blog, it's a good idea to check that out because that's normally where photographers will put their most recent work and you'll be able to get a good feel for maybe a whole wedding rather than just their best pictures that they put on the website.
Okay, so you found a photographer that you like. The next step is to meet up with them and have a little consultation. And at this meeting, the photographer will try and tell you how much experience he's got, how many weddings he's done this year, blah, 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 all really boring stuff. What you really want to know is who'll be photographing the wedding with them. If they've got an assistant, whether that assistant will just be carrying bags or shooting as well, whether that assistant has any photography experience, or if they just do it on the side. So it's all little things that you need to know.
So if there is two photographers, it's a good thing to ask if they're going to be travelling together. If they do travel together, that's fine, but what happens if the car breaks down? Do they have roadside recovery? And how long do they think that it would take before they could get back to the wedding? How much coverage do they think they'll be missing? If there are two as well, maybe it's an idea to ask if they could travel separately, just so you know that definitely somebody will be there to cover the wedding, just in case something bad does happen.
Another thing that you need to find out is how long the photographer plans on staying. I mean, they could say it was an all-day package, but you really need to know when that is until. Some people will go after the first dance, but if you want a little bit of the party and have your friends dancing, you really need to find out if they'll be willing to stay a little bit longer.
Now, many photographers have been to lots of different venues over the years, so they may have already visited your venue and shot a wedding there before. But if not, it's a good idea to ask the photographer if they'd be willing to go down with you a few weeks before your wedding and have a look around. You might have some of your own ideas that you'd like to share with the photographer, and it's a good idea for them to have a look around and find the best places for the photos.
Another thing you need to find out is whether the photographer is going to give you a disc of all the images. Now you need to find out whether they're going to be edited, so that's airbrushed and colour corrected, ready just to go straight to the printers, or if they're just going to give you the unedited RAWs. If they are going to give you the RAWs, you need to get software on your computer that enables you to read them, or they might just give you all the JPEGs that are unedited, but that's something that you need to sort out between you. Okay, so far so good. You're happy with everything that the photographer said to you, but now it comes down to price. Now we really believe that you get what you pay for, so although some photographers do sound expensive, you know what you're going to get and you know that the service is going to be good. Where some of the cheaper photographers, although they sound quite reasonable at the time, when it comes to the end of it, they add little bits and pieces onto it. It comes to quite expensive anyway, so you really need to find out what you're paying for at the beginning.
And it's always a good idea to check how many pages you're actually going to get in your album and sort of how many pictures that should hold. Some photographers will price an additional cost per picture, where others will charge it per extra page in your album. So obviously you're going to get more out of an extra page because you probably could get 4 to 5 pictures on that rather than paying for each individual photo. So that's another thing to check, how many pages are in your album and sort of how many pictures you can get in there.
Another thing is travel costs. Some photographers will charge a lot of money to go a relatively short distance. Petrol prices are quite high, but you need to make sure that they have that in a contract written down, as with everything that we've said as well. So make sure everything's stipulated on a contract for both parties to then sign, and then you know you're insured.
Another thing that's good to ask your photographer is how long will it be before I get to see my pictures, and how long does the album take to be made. Sometimes this can take quite a number of weeks, but you want to make sure that you're not hanging around unnecessarily just because the photographers may be busy with other clients. So you want to make sure that you can get some sort of deadline out of the photographer, so that later on after your wedding day you can kind of hold them to that, because you don't want to be waiting months before you see your pictures. And one thing that I find quite bizarre is that some photographers will pick the pictures for you that go into your album. Some people like that. I personally think that's just crazy, because it's your wedding album, and obviously as photographers we've got different taste to you, so it's nice if you can pick your own pictures that go in your album. Also, it's a good idea to check how many pictures you'll get to choose from, because you might be able to choose from, say, 350 pictures, but there might only be 70 to 80 pictures going in your album, so you want to make sure you're going to have a lot of variety.
So we hope these tips have helped you out. The most important thing is to pick somebody that you will get along with, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with your photographer before the wedding, during the wedding, and sometimes afterwards as well. So make sure that you've got someone that you know you'll get along with. And when it comes down to it, your pictures are the only thing of your wedding day that really lasts forever and they capture memories. So you need to make the right decision because it's an important one.
So if you need any more information at all, maybe some more tips or just any help in general, please give us a call, or you can visit our website, which is www.jazzberryweddingphotography.co.uk, and you can also email us straight from the website. We really look forward to hearing from you.